Hey, 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 it's your boy, Mr. B, here today on Medicine for the Mind, where we are providing the tools for substance free living. And today I have a wonderful, wonderful, uh, encouraging lesson today. It is powerful. What we're going to be talking about today is improving your self control in addiction recovery, improving your self control. I think one of the most important things that an individual can have in recovery is self control. And one of the things that the addiction takes away from you is your ability to have self control because the addiction wants to be in control. And so when it is in control, you are out of control, and therefore you have no self control. I've been talking about this ability to live beyond substance abuse for, a while. I've been teaching this probably over 20 years, and I I forget exactly how long. Sometimes I think it's 23, 25, whatever, but it's been a long time. The reason why this issue is so important to me is because I am a survivor of addiction because of my parent, my mom, because she did not know how to defeat this thing called addiction, and because of her uh, uh, demise and being overtaken by the fruit or the results or the repercussions of a long time habit of drinking. It affected my life, and it stole her from me. It stole her from me in 1992. Uh, it was January 25th, 1992, when my mother took her last breath in my arms. She had a massive heart attack that was brought on by uh, a congestive heart failure as a result of cigarette smoking and substance or drinking, and from that point on, I recognized that I had to uh, cause other people to be aware of the trap and the danger of substance abuse. It almost got me. It really did. It almost got me because when I was a teenager, I my cousin introduced me to marijuana, and it almost took over my life. Uh, but the thanks be to God. Thanks be to God. The Lord rescued me and has challenged me to continue helping others win this battle over substance abuse. Well, that's enough of that. The Bible talks about this thing called self control, and we have to have the ability to improve our self control. Self control is not a character trait, it is a skill. That's what it is. It's not a character trait, it is a skill that you develop a long time. You work on it, you work on it, you work on it, and actually you should have been worked on as a young person when you were a child. Uh, I worked on my children to have self control. I remember one time when they did something crazy. My kids, I have a lot of kids, seven to be exact. Most people consider that a lot. And me and my wife, we were trying to raise them properly. And one of the things that my wife would do is when they would go to the store, she would have the conversation with them. before you go in this store, we're going into Walmart. Before you go in here, I don't want no playing. I don't want you to touch anything that's on the shelves. I want y'all to walk in a straight line and and pretty much do exactly what I tell you to do. And when the kids got out of the car for the first time, man, they got in the store and they were a little bit out of control. And my wife tuned them up, so to speak. Y'all know what tuning up means, don't you? She began to rat-a-tat-tat on the back side, and some people were bothered by the fact that she would discipline her children in public. And my wife's statement was, if you do it in public, I'm gonna discipline you exactly where you did it. And as they developed self-control, they learned that it's better to be able to control yourself than to have somebody else control you. So we ended up going out to dinner, and we used to eat at Golden Corral often. And when we had all the children, self-control, we had a plan. We're gonna all go up here. We're gonna all get our plates. We're gonna go to the buffet. We're gonna get the food, and I'm gonna help the little ones, which were the smaller boys, and you guys get your food, and then we would go and do all of that and go back to the table, and then we would look at them and say, now, you behave yourselves, you be quiet, use your inside voice, and we'll be right back. And we would walk away, and then Pastor Camille, or my wife Camille, would go, and we would go get our food, and we would come back. And without fail, someone would say, I watched those children sit at that table, and it was as if they were just behaved. How did you do that? And my wife said, well, we just tell them, and we let them know that there are consequences on the other side of you not doing what we say. And we've just been practicing this for a little while. That self-control, watch this, it speaks loud. It speaks loud. When you learn it as a child, you can harness things in your life, even when you don't feel like it. You're able to make yourself do things when you don't feel like doing it. Well, in addiction, one of the keys to having total control over this thing called addiction is you have to develop some type of self-control. In Proverbs 25, verse 28, Proverbs, it says this in the NIV version, it says this, like a city without walls are broken through a person who lacks self-control. Let me read that again. Like a city without walls are broken through as a person who lacks self-control. In other words, if you have no self-control, you have no walls of protection. The enemy can come into your city at any time simply because it wants to, or he wants to. That's the way this disease functions. When you don't have self-control, it's like having no immune system. When it's like whatever comes by will make you sick. Y'all understand that? Whatever comes by will make you sick. You don't have nothing to defend yourself because you're out of control. It reminds me of this story. I'm going to read the story to you. It says, this is a story, a very short story of a man and a horse. And the story reads, a monk slowly walks away along a road when he hears the sound of a galloping horse. He turns around to see a man riding a horse moving swiftly towards his direction. When the man reaches closer, the monk asks, "Where are you going?" To which the man replies, "I don't know. Ask the horse," and rides away. When you have no self-control, the drug is in control, and you cannot explain what you will do next. I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. When the drug is in control, it will take you places you didn't intend to go. It'll make you spend more than you intended to pay. It'll make you stay longer than you intended to stay, until all you have and all your anything under your control is lost. It's lost. So you must have self-control. So how do you develop self-control? Well, let me start by saying this. Self-control is a muscle. And the lack of self-control is also another muscle. Whichever one you practice on a consistent basis will be stronger than the other. If you practice having self-control, or if you practice, hear this, being impulsive, the two muscles are contrary to the other. Whichever one that you practice will make you better. So when you practice, hear this, impulsive responding, doing things without thinking, doing things without planning, it will develop. Do you know anyone that way? Does anybody know anyone that way? Where when they're so impulsive that any person could come up and make a suggestion and they'll fly off with that. Listen, you have to have self-control. And when you have self-control, hear this, you have the ability to stop yourself from doing things even when you don't feel like doing it. Glory to God. Hallelujah. My. You have the ability to stop yourself or make yourself do what you don't feel like doing. So I want to say this. You see, I have a picture I want you to see. This picture is the picture that my brother was placed in a particular position, and he had to stay there a week. And this picture here, check it out, is a picture of someone that had self-control. Listen to what happened here. He went to the doctor. He had an injury to his eye, and it left a hole in his eye. And he went to the doctor, and they put a particular some gas in his eye over the place where the hole was. And they said, you're going to have to remain in this position for the next 7 days. If you remain in this position, your eye will be healed. If you don't remain in this position, it will move because of the bubble is gas. It's a gas bubble in your eye. And if you move, the gas will move from the spot, and it won't heal correctly. Well, my brother was in this position for about 5 to 6 days. How do you stay in this position? I know he had urges to want to move. I know there were things going on when he had to go to the restroom. He had to bow down in this a similar position for 7 days, but he was in it about 6 days, 5 to 6 days. How do you do that? What he told me was he could remain in this position because, watch this, he had to. If he wanted his eye to be healed, he had to stay in that position. In other words, if I want the benefit of healing, I cannot move. The ability to make yourself stay in position is when you can keep in mind of the consequences of you not staying in position. Listen, you have to think about the consequences of a relapse. If you think about the consequence of a relapse, let me tell you, it will keep you from relapsing and give you the determination to remain in control. Hear this. A relapse or a urge triggered only lasts about 7 to 15 minutes, and you can keep your life under control. So what you're telling me, sir, is that if I can just keep myself and control myself and distract myself from the urge to want to do this and develop this muscle called discipline and self-control, I could keep my life from being tore up, influenced, ruined for the next 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years, or even lose my life. It's all a matter of self-control. Now, I'm not saying that all addiction is just about self-control. No, what I'm saying is it is an important component to winning and developing the ability not to relapse when you do have self-control. You know, my wife and I, when we were young, I used to, twist her arm. You know, if you twist someone's arm, it would start burning, and she would, be stop, and I'll say uncle, say uncle, say uncle, and she would never say uncle. Man, I would like you'll lose your arm, just because you just don't want to say uncle. And her mindset was this: listen, you're not gonna make me do anything. I want you to know that you have to have a quitting or using is not an option mentality. Using is not an option. You got to have that mentality. You got to say to yourself, I cannot use. I was explaining this to a lady, and she told me this is how she sees her recovery. Her recovery is like what she does with crocheting. She says, I begin to crochet, and my life is like crocheting, in which sometimes things don't look like I want it to look. It's not coming out like I intended for it from the beginning. That's how life is. Life is like I'm creating a life, and it's not coming out the way I intended for it to come out. No one ever intends to be addicted to substances. However, listen to this. She said, but what I do is I undo what I did. And I undo it, and I start all over again, recreating the life that I intended. Wow. Do you understand that that's what you can do if you're struggling with addiction? You can undo the addiction and start your life all over again. Wow, that's powerful. And another lady chimed in and said, she said this, and sometimes when I'm crocheting, my yarn gets uh, 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 caught up and tangled up. She said, but what I do is I stop. She said, I straighten it out and then I start all over again. Oh my God. I thought about, wow, listen to this revelation that when you're in life and you are going through a struggle, you can just stop, undo it, or take the knots out and start all over again. So, how do you improve your self-control? Number one, self-control starts with a mindset. It starts with an attitude. The attitude is this: I refuse to use another day in my life. Wow. That's what I'm saying. I refuse to use another day in my life. So with that attitude, what do? You say these things. I am in control of my life, and I'm not going to give up control to these drugs. I'm not going to give up this control to this alcohol. I'm not going to give up control of my life to this addiction, to gambling, to sex addiction, to food. It's still in my life. And my life means too much to me to let it be stolen away through drugs, alcohol, and addiction. Secondly, watch this. You need to set some obtainable goals that can be defined and they can be doable. Because when you have a goal in mind and you notice what you're trying to accomplish, it can give you the ability to fight off the desire to go the opposite direction. My brother staying in that position and knowing that him staying in that position would heal his eye. It produced a determination to, watch this, to accommodate the position because the results were going to be so pleasing. And not doing so, the results would be so catastrophic to his life. Hear me, hear me, hear me, hear me, hear me. It is worth it when you have a goal. Your goal must be superior to the pressure of using. At the moment your goal is no longer superior to the pressure of using, you will use because your desire to use is greater than your desire to win. So you have to have a mindset and a goal set in mind. Number three, monitoring progress towards your goals. That means you need to check off your some progress, some terms, some things that you need to accomplish. And when you start accomplishing this, you'll start like have a mindset like the old song says, I've come too far to turn around now. Woo! y'all. I ain't no ways tired. I've come too far for to go back now. When you have measuring progress and you see how far you've gone, it gives you determination to stay focused. Another one is enhance motivation through visualization of the rewards that come with reaching your goals. In other words, visualize yourself in the place, reaching the goal. Visualize yourself and see yourself at the end. Yes, it works. It works. It works. I've heard someone use it in this way. Visualize playing the tape through, because most of the time when we think about the good things or what we perceive as good things for using, we'll we go back and use. But if you play the tape all the way through, you ended up broke, you ended up depressed, you ended up sick, you lost your money, you lost cars, you lost houses, you lost spouses, you lost access to your children, you destroyed the confidence of your family in you. When you start playing the tape to the end, you have a desire to have self-control. Now, hear this. We must build a stronger self-confidence. You have to believe you can do it. So do some when you have those little goals are supposed to build self-confidence. That's what it's supposed to do. So when you feel like you accomplish one thing, you feel like you can accomplish another. You know, one of the things that my wife probably is a little bit frustrated with me is when I'm driving somewhere, I'm always asking how many miles we got to go. I'm looking for a sign, because as soon as I get past one sign, I look forward to seeing the next sign. And I don't even like to stop to go to the bathroom. Y'all don't hear me. Come on. I don't even like, because when I got my attention focused on reaching a certain place, I want to get as much miles behind me as possible. Listen, set some small goals, and when you accomplish them, you will become more confident that the action, or that you're going to reach this. And then the last thing I want to do. The last thing I want to say to you, remove temptations and triggers. If you got to have something that is not working against you. If think about this. If you struggling and then you keep the struggle right there in front of you, that you bound to lose. I mean, you preparing to lose. Remove those temptations. Remove it. If it's the paraphernalia, get rid of it out of your house. You know, I remember this guy said, when he said, I'm tired of using this crack. I'm tired of using this crack. He said he opened the door and he threw the stem out, but he looked out the door to see where it landed, because he knew he was going to go back and get it. You can't act like that. Destroy it. You got to get rid of it. You got to break it. You got to dispose of it. Yes, you got to dispose of it in order to get victory over this thing. And then also there might be triggers. Certain music that you used to listen to. If you listened to it when you were using. You can't do that. You gotta get rid of that music. Your dealer, you gotta get rid of his phone number. You gotta block his number. Then after you block the number, his or her, because I don't want to be sexist, his or her number, block it, and then delete it from your contacts, because you want to make it impossible, or not impossible, hard for you to contact and reach your dealer. I mean, if it's alcohol, remove all the alcohol from your house. I heard one lady tell me, well, I normally keep just a little bit under the cabinet just in case for company. Listen, you don't care that much about company that you're going to risk your life for company that might come. Do you see how the disease is tricking you? He's tricking you. Get your mind together, remove all of the alcohol from your presence, so you can have enough time to think about the consequences of using again. Well, that's our lesson for today. You can improve your self-control. The only thing you have to do is work your muscle. I hope this has been a benefit to you. I hope it has been. And if you know of anyone that is struggling with addiction, please have them email me at medicineforthemind919@gmail.com. Send me the message. Tell me what they want, what they need, and or in our uh, in the comments on the messenger. Just send us, just get it to me any kind of way you can. Number one, I'll pray for you. And then number two, I'll teach you the practical things that will help you and whoever is dealing with substance abuse, how to walk it out with the help of God. Amen and amen. God bless you.